The Joe Rogan Experience.
Maybe for the last few months, since we started the Hulu, the American Saga series, people have been pushing me to do a podcast, right?
They would love listening to you.
I end up not doing one, but we have one for the show, of course, that kind of does, like after the show go off, you could go and listen and hear, more inside details of the story. But still, during that process, it was like, you need to do a podcast, Rez, because just the way you think, you just need more people with that kind of thinking. You know what I mean? So when he just said, does he talk to us? He don't talk to himself. But then after he was finished talking to himself for 44 minutes, he felt a weight come off of him.
I was, son.
But there's a scripture on that, bro.
What is it?
The scripture is in the Bhagavad-Gita.
Ooh. Is that the Quran?
No.
I don't know. I
know the Quran is the Quran.
All right. I just need to know.
So the Bhagavad-Gita means the song of God. Just put Gita, Gita. The Gita, right? It's actually the words of Krishna. And he says contemplation with yourself, which is talking with yourself, will take you further than praying.
Ooh.
Okay? And if a man is not contemplating, right? If you're not, whether you're doing it verbally, like right now we're talking out loud, we all got that voice in our head.
Yeah,
right? You had that voice. You was like, "Yo, should I put the condom on or not?"
That joint ain't that loud no more. Though, so I feel you. We've been there.
You had that voice, and if you listen to it or you don't listen to it, right? But the bottom line is that, according to Krishna, it's that contemplation that makes us better. It's that reflection of what we did, what we're gonna do, and when you verbalize it even out loud, you know what I mean, the spoken word, it's even more powerful. So,
you get it out. Yeah. That's how I felt.
It's good.
I'm telling you, part of it was like I was not letting Joe talk shit to me. I was like, fuck that, man. He not doing that. But I'm glad I did it, man.
The Bhagavad-Gita did not reach him.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to do a podcast, son.
You should. I think, look,
son,
people get mad at me because they tell people
they get mad money too, son.
You can make money.
What?
The most important thing is that you have a voice. Like, you're an interesting guy. If you did a podcast, it would be interesting. There's a lot of people. It's good to have a bunch of different people doing it from all different styles of art, different walks of life.
If a person has already been interested, people want to keep getting different pieces of you. How can you give it to them?
Dude, they would love to hear you just talk about life.
Come on, man. That's a fucking...
Easy. That's a no-brainer. You hear a quote in the Bhagavad-Gita. It's you and Duncan Trussell, the only people who quote the Bhagavad-Gita. That's hilarious.
I love that book.
That's an amazing book, man. That's what Oppenheimer quoted when he watched the first atomic bomb blow off. Said, "I am become death, destroyer of worlds." It's a quote right from the Bhagavad-Gita.
Yeah.
That's crazy shit.
Yeah,
that is a fascinating book, man. There's all sorts of allusions to like UFOs and shit.
I was about to say that. You talk about, the Mahabharata, which is a longer version.
Yes.
So the Bhagavad-Gita is about 700 verses that's taken out of the Mahabharata, which is one of the longest. It's not the longest poem, but it's in the top 10.
How do you say it? Is it Mahabharata? How do you say it?
Yeah, you might have. That B is in there. I don't know if that B is silent.
Yeah, that's the one with all the...
I don't even know words that got a silent B.
Yeah,
Mahabharata. That's the one with the...
What word has a silent B? I never even know those words existed.
Mahabharata. A silent B?
There's something like that.
That's got a B in there. That B makes noise. Right? But it's... there's Vimanas in that, right? Where there's flying crafts. There's a bunch of weird shit that people throughout history have tried to figure out what the fuck are they talking about.
Yeah. And... that ancient civilization was measuring what they call coppers every 35,000 years, and they were saying,
measuring coppers?
Yeah, no, like that's like Kappa, like Cappadonna, copper.
Oh,
I got a tendency to. I want to just make a disclaimer real quick. I have a tendency to pronounce words the way I pronounce them.
I have a tendency to listen and understand the words where you pronounce it, son. Words to everything I love, my nigga.
So,
wait a minute, can I say this real quick? I forgot this when I did my show earlier, right, son? Joe said he never spit a 16, son.
Oh, you never spit a 16?
No, I didn't. I'm very white.
8?
No, man. I didn't even know what he's talking about. I had to like go over it with
Tell him the bars you said you spit.
Oh, what I said, hip hop, him to the.
Oh, he was in the
That's not
classics.
exactly what happened.
Classic.
He was asking me about Sugar Hill, and I said, "Yeah, I remember that." And then I started singing it.
I don't think I was actually about Sugar Hill, son.
I think we talked about it.
No. I wish
Didn't
I could
he?
remember exactly.
Didn't he? I think you did.
We went to Sugar Hill after a period of time.
Yeah, you asked me if I knew.
No, this is what I said. You ever
Okay.
spit 16? You was like, this is what you told me, Joe. You said, I don't have time to spit 16.
No, I don't have any
This is
time
what
to
you
rap.
said. No,
I don't.
you said, I have much
I
better
said
things.
I enjoy it.
You said, Joe,
I enjoy listening to it. I don't have time to
That's
do
what,
it.
Joe, you said, I have much better things to do with my time than to spit 16.
I don't think that's what I said.
I'm pretty sure that's what you said.
What I said was, I'm too busy to do one more thing. And I like rap, but I don't like to do it. 'Cause
Right.
maybe I would love it, but I'm not going to. I don't have any time.
Okay.
That's all it means.
It's not your thing, yo.
Yeah, that's all it means. Don't try to twist it.
I
Darnell.
didn't twist it. The
How
tape
dare
speaks
you.
for itself.
I am the producer
The tape-
of your,
I know.
your
Oh,
show,
oh, I'm
and
getting
you
fired.
are treating me like,
Oh,
in a terrible
my bad.
manner.
I'm fired already.
misquoting.
Edit it. You're going to edit it out. Let's edit this.
We were talking
All right?
about how few white rappers ever actually make it. Like the tiny percentage in comparison to the ones who try it. Like how many of them try it? You got to think there must be millions and millions that have tried it.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Right?
right.
But like there's like a small handful of guys.
Well, in all reality, it's a small handful, period, for
Period,
any race.
for any
Yeah.
race.
So,
Yeah.
so
That's true too.
So if you look at the ratio, I'm a ratio guy. So as we talk, you'll see I'm always pulling some numbers into things. But if you look at the ratio, let's say 1 million white guys tried,
Right.
5 made it. Let's say 50 million blacks tried. You see what I mean? So
I see what you're saying.
it's usually the ratio.
Right.
That-
Many
that-
more are doing it. I see what you're
Yeah.
saying. Yeah. Makes sense.
But hip hop, let me just say something about hip hop because I could say that, right?
It's dead?
No. How
I
could
thought you
hip hop
could make
be
me nervous.
how could
No,
hip-hop
I was
be
just
dead
checking.
when
I was
Wu-Tang
like,
forever?
you killed it. I killed Tekashi tried to kill it, but go ahead, son.
No, the beautiful thing is that hip hop is really
No,
one
he
of those.
did. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. I like this energy here. But hip hop is a pure American
Creation.
culture. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like people try to trace it. Nah, man, trace it right here.
Yeah.
And when it was formed, right, it's definitely a lot of young black men. You to go back to Kool Herc and Grandmaster Flash and Melly Mel and Spoonie G. You could go back to the classics. Grandmaster Caz, right? But just within Grandmaster Caz crew, the Cold Crush brother, you got Charlie Chase, right? So you got the Spanish brothers there. Within our first hip hop songs that we love, LL Cool J, Rock the Bells. Oh, guess who produced that? Rick Rubin. You got the white brother there.
Oh yeah, we was talking about that.
So the youth culture of America at that time, right? Even with Fab Five Freddy going down, town to the CBGB crowd and all that, and Blondie and all these things was melding from our culture. Now, whereas of course, it's a dominantly a black expression, right? We could say we dominated the culture, but it took angles from every other part of New York to make it exist, and that means it took our Spanish brothers and their culture, it took our white brothers and their culture to all form it, and then of course when Wu-Tang came, we brought the Asian culture in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Wu-Tang, when you say that, it's like it came in like a thunderstorm, nigga. Like, whoo!
You know what I mean? So what we should be proud to know that it's like an inclusive American art form.
It is.
You know what I mean? And look, Bruce Lee, who was an American, right? People got to, he represents the Asian culture, but he was born in America, went back, made it big in Hong Kong, and came back to America and took it to the next level again. And when you look at some of those break dance moves and some of the philosophies that he brought to mixing more styles together, Jeet Kune Do, which means the way of the intercepting fist, or also the way of he combined boxing with fencing with Wing Chun.
Yes.
Right? He put all those MMAs together before it was even that, right?
When it was taboo.
Exactly. Hip hop also is that same type of product, where you do have the soul of James Brown, the jazz of Thelonious Monk, you know what I mean? The rock beat of Billy Squier.
Yeah.
I got a big beat, or Honky Tonk Woman by Rolling Stones. Those are break beats. But yet you also got the Latin feeling of the Mambo Kings and songs like Apache and the Mexican.
Do you think hip hop is evolving, and not just because is it evolving in a sense of the creativity of it?
I think it's definitely,
because people they got a situation now where it don't have to evolve, but people have found a way to make money off of something that people may not agree with. There's like hot, but do you think hip hop is evolving?
Yes, it always evolves, right? So it's part of the evolution we're seeing now is whereas we, in my generation, we relied on music that was created before us because we came in a time where they took music programs out of school. Right, so you didn't learn how to play a guitar, piano, and your music equipment or your instrument became your turntables. It became your drum machine.
Right.
Eventually became our sampler, and then we sampled a lot of songs, or a lot of breaks from old records that already existed.
Right.
Right. But this generation, right, they're not actually forced to sample. They actually could take their keyboard, their drum machine, their laptop, and just create.
And on their phone too, yeah.
And on their phone and just create the beat, right? And so now the beat has no historical reference to it in the sense of, oh, that was a James Brown sample, that was a Marvin Gaye sample. No, that's just that kid who, whether he did Fruity Loops and threw some chord progressions together, or whether he sat there on his garage band on his phone and hit the guitar program that comes with it,
right,
or whatever, the creativity of it is now having this form of originality, right? Now, of course, once something like that happens, there's a formula. So we keep hearing that same formula exists right now. But I think one of the greatest evolution of hip hop, right, is, and I'm gonna use the word evolution loosely because when I think about the Cold Crush Brothers and the Force MDs, they did this anyway in the beginning. But hip hop has become more melodic now than it did in the 90s and the early 2000s, right? So what I mean by that, rappers now, I'm just so D, yeah, like it's all melody, it's all, it's all chanting, right? It has the reggae chant vibe to it. When we was doing it, I smoke on the mic like smoking Joe Frazier, the Hellraiser. Right. It was all aggressive chop rap, you know what I mean? Right. So to see that it evolves to this melodic form, and then look at Kanye, he's now took it to gospel.
It's melodic as hell right now.
Snoop took it to the Snoop Lion.
But Snoop Lion, Snoop was really successful. The Snoop Lion thing wasn't that successful, but the one he won, the gospel album, I think he was getting awards and nominated and stayed on top of Billboard for a while.
Yeah, and now Kanye is in that world. So it's evolving, right?